Well, tonight, a weather impact alert remains in place for all this extreme heat. We thank you for joining us. Hope you're someplace cool. I'm Rolly Hoyt.
And I'm Faith Woodard. Heat indexes today pushing 105 degrees outside.
Meteorologist Tracy Bean joining us here in the evening. Tracy,
yeah,
we get a little cooler as the sun starts to set, but it's still going to be hot this night.
It's still going to be hot. I know we talk about doing things early or late, but you can see it is still very warm out there. Our current heat index value in central Arkansas is right around 105. We've got some showers we'll talk about here in a minute that have cooled things down there, but in Stuttgart feeling like 108, Russellville 101. Again, it is going to stay warm. We do have our weather impact alert through 8 p.m. this evening, but you can see even at 9 p.m. it's still going to feel like it's 95. So just a good practice to make sure you're just drinking water anytime you can. Now, most of that bulk of the heat has passed on, but we are under that extreme heat warning through 8 p.m. this evening in the rest of the state. For the most part, that heat advisory. Now, tomorrow we're going to start to see things lessen just a little bit, but don't mistake this for being cooler. It is just going to be a little bit less, and it's still going to be very, very dangerous. We will have a heat advisory from noon until 8 p.m. and we've just got 3 counties here off to the north that is going to have that extreme heat warning, but all over the state, even if you aren't highlighted, it is still going to be very, very warm. We'll talk more about this heat and some heavy rain showers down in the southern portion of the state coming up in my forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Now, we've all seen the signs when we drive through a construction site on the interstate. Slow down, road work ahead.
And in some cases, there are now signs saying cameras in use. Tonight, THV 11's Brooke Buckner shows us how these cameras, authorized by a new law passed 2 years ago, appear to be working.
When you drive down Interstate 57, you'll see signs saying speed photo enforced. While you might not see the actual camera, it sees you, and RDOT says it's making a difference.
The cameras are getting attention and getting people to slow down, which is exactly what we'd hoped for.
Dave Parker with RDOT says that was the ultimate goal, not to increase warnings or citations, although that's happened thousands of times here on I-57.
It was deployed June of 24. As of July of 25, 5,400 warnings, 836 citations.
Parker credits the cameras for less crashes in work zones. In this area alone, they've seen a 14% decrease in car crashes since installing a camera. Besides keeping drivers and road crews safer, he says it also helps officers.
It captures an image, sends it down to the officer quarter of a mile, half mile down the road, and then he or she then physically will pull you over and determine whether it's warning, citation, whatever the case may be.
So don't expect to be mailed a ticket. An officer has to be present.
It helps us with manpower because the old-fashioned way, we'd have to have one officer in the work zone. He or she would see that violation and have to radio downstream, so it involved 2 officers. That's another big plus to this.
For RDOT, this is more than just a law. It's personal.
In the last couple of years, we've had a handful of fatalities involving maintenance workers out there doing basic jobs, retrieving debris in the roadway that could cause a major accident, trying to get something along the shoulder. And these things happen because people aren't slowing down in active work zones.
The state currently has 3 cameras. Besides the one here on I-57, there's also one on I-49 in Washington County and I-55 in Mississippi County. In Jacksonville, Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
Brooke, thank you. Tonight, police in Pine Bluff investigating a homicide that happened earlier this afternoon right on South Spruce Street around 3:20. Officers finding a man dead in a yard there. The victim already identified as 36-year-old Marquise Avery. Details limited beyond that. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. And if you know anything, Pine Bluff police are asking for your help. Also tonight, an investigation underway after a shooting at Dupree Park in Jacksonville. According to a news release from the department, officers came across a crash at West Main and TP White Drive while on the way to the original scene. They found the driver suffering from a gunshot wound behind the wheel and quickly figured out the connection to the call at the park. The victim, DeAndre Gooden of Jacksonville, identified today after he died from his injuries at a nearby hospital. No word yet on any suspects or motive. And we got an update from Arkansas State Police tonight. They say they've conducted a series of traffic stops along I-40, all between July 9th and the 13th, which resulted in the seizure of more than 160 pounds of illegal drugs. It's the largest bust among them netted nearly 90 pounds of illegal marijuana. That's when troopers pulled over a 31-year-old from Seattle, Washington, along I-40 in Crawford County. They also had busts of 51, 15, and 10 pounds in other stops over that week's time.
Well, we've talked about the potential cuts to PBS and NPR nationwide. The proposed bill would take back $9.4 billion, set to go to several different programs. Arkansas Representative French Hill voted in favor of the bill. He talked about wanting the country to be more fiscally responsible. He says, quote, Arkansans understand the value of living within their means and they expect the same from their government. This is what my fellow Central Arkansans sent me here to do.
Meanwhile, across the Capitol Hill chambers is another Arkansas lawmaker talking about the billions in new defense spending that are on the way from the big, beautiful bill.
Senator Tom Cotton touting the new funding in the bill and how he says it will support military readiness and local jobs. The bill includes $150 billion in defense spending. Cotton says that could help speed up Air Force training operations that have recently moved to Fort Smith. He says right now the biggest slowdown is how quickly F-35S jets can be built and distributed, but this new funding could help fix that.
It's going to increase the rates of production of the F-35 fighter. The faster we can get those F-35s off the production line and in the hands of our foreign partners, the faster they can get to Ebbing and have their pilots and their families there training and living in the River Valley.
The Ebbing Air Base is home for pilots from allied countries across the world who come to Arkansas to train on F-16 and F-35 fighter jets.
Well, there's a national holiday for everything, including Corn Dog Day, which actually arrived earlier this week. So it's just a coincidence, though, that a new business has moved into the River Market offering a different take on the traditional corn dog. And as THV 11's Carter Thweet tells us, the place could have a bigger impact than just offering great food.
It's always so good, man.
Savory and delicious.
Tastes good.
Well, those have been just some of the reactions from people who have been enjoying free corn dogs like this one. And they're not just any corn dogs, they're Korean style from Two Hands Corn Dogs here in the River Market.
They're a spin on the classic traditional corn dog, just exotic. So we have a range of 7 different corn dogs.
Employees Max Schultz and Vincent Denton will split time between the River Market and Two Hands' first location on Cantrell Road. They tell me there are 7 different coatings you can choose from, plus different filling options as well.
I like the mozzarella, the fried mozzarella, the spicy one.
To celebrate the grand opening, the corn dogs were free from noon to 2, and there seemed to be one popular choice among people who braved the line to get one.
I went with the classic.
The classic, always a classic. You can never go wrong with it.
Seeing the crowd was exciting for City Board member Dean Compuris. He's over the area that includes the River Market, and the Market Hall in particular is an area that he says could use the growth.
Having someone new coming in doing something exciting it just makes you feel good, makes you feel good for the public, and it has new energy for people to enjoy.
Compuris says more changes to the River Market are coming. Safety improvements, yes, but also plans for outdoor seating, more dinner options, and looser alcohol laws.
This will go from a venue for both breakfast and lunch, but for dinner, and then staying after dinner and having fun all evening.
And it took me less than 5 minutes to finish my corn dog, and I gotta tell you, it was fantastic. I will most likely be back. In downtown Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
That young man's moving in on Hayden's territory. If you're interested in getting your hands on one of those free corn dogs, Two Hands will be doing the same promotion at the River Market tomorrow from 12 to 2.
Watching the Gulf Coast with potential storms growing there, how people along the shore are preparing.
And the 30 Crossing Project, it's in the books, but some drivers are still missing a key exit. What to know to avoid a frustrating detour when we come back.
Well, those heat alerts aren't going away anytime soon. We will have a heat advisory for tomorrow as well, and we could see our first 100-degree day next week, maybe a few of them. We'll talk more about that very hot forecast coming up.